everybody, this is Comic Kangaroo here with another review. This is for the comics of August 1st. Alright, to start off, I only got 3 comics this week. There weren't many that interest me, and 2 of them I was just trying out for the first time, so it's gonna be interesting. Okay, so first book I picked up this week was a DC book. This was Earth 2, Issue 4. This is written by James Robinson with art by Nicholas Scott and Eduardo Pansica. I'm not that big of a fan of books where it's alternate dimensions. My personal opinion, they kind of get a little bit weird. I mean, I don't read any Ultimate Comic stuff because of that. And, I mean, it's hard enough for me sometimes to keep up with current continuity. So, but I figured this book showcases the JSA, and similarly to the Justice League comic book was doing. But I like this a lot better, how they did that, how they went about creating the team. But anyway, this book starts off with a little mysterious origin of a character who later appears at the end, but a lot of this book is just Jay Garrick, the Flash, and Hawkgirl talking, and their dialogue is really well written. I really like it. And Nicholas Scott, his art really helps display the dialogue. You get a feel for these characters through it. His art really, it does remind me of Ivan Reyes, which is a good thing because I love his art, if you've heard my praise for Aquaman. But, basically what happens is Jay Garrick and Hawkgirl encounter Solomon Grundy along with Alan Scott, the Green Lantern. And so the whole book is basically a fight, but it's much better presented than Justice League ever did it with the first story arc. The story arc, and it's interesting because the story arc is similar in the sense that these superheroes need to team up together to defeat a threat greater than any of them alone. And I think what's so great about it is, even though it's such an action-focused story, they still have the greatest thing about a comic, in my opinion, and that is character development. Each of these characters I cared for when I read this. I cared for Hawkgirl when she fought Solomon Grundy by herself. Jay Garrick I really cared for because he was fabulously written in this, and that was great because I hated how he was ran Jeff Johns' run of Justice League. But if you were upset by how Justice League turned out, which I was, but I kept reading because I thought I would pick up, didn't. That was a waste of money, but this book is what Justice League failed to become. It is fun, it is engaging, it is just great all around. I was really impressed by this, so I have a lot of DC books on my pull list, but one more can't hurt. It's only $3 a month, right? Alright, now that we have that out of the way, the next book I want to talk about is a Marvel book. This is a book that I've been reading for quite some time now, and it's definitely one of my favorite books coming out, especially for Marvel, along with Winter Soldier, and that is Here Comes Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, issue 16. This is written by Mark Waid with art by Chris Samney. Now, continuing off from what happened in the great issue 15 of Matt Murdock's struggles in Latveria after losing his senses, this happens directly afterwards, and this book, although it's a Daredevil book, it also showcases Hank Pym, which I was very pleased by that, considering he's one of my favorite Marvel characters. the book, it shows the origin. It starts off with the origin of Hank Pym, and the interesting part is supposedly Hank and Matt are kind of seeing life from the other's perspective, and this was great. This was Mark Waid found a way to take a character, and even though the character had really nothing to do with Daredevil, he found a way to bring him into the book, first of all. Second of all, he found a good way to make him a character that could be consistent with Daredevil. Like, I feel now that Hank Pym and Matt Murdock could become friends over the scenario they were put through. I feel like now they can relate to each other more. And I think it's good that Daredevil now has a cast member who he could relate to. Because I feel Daredevil's a guy who he can't really express his feelings that well because, as he said earlier on in this book, he's trying to live in the denial of the insanity he's been through. And it's nice for someone to be able to sympathize with him. But probably the best part was definitely the main story. But towards the end of the book, we finally figure out what Foggy found in Matt's desk, and I'm not going to lie. When I found out, I was just amazed. It was such a surprise, but it was a great surprise, and it's stuff like this that really makes it clear that Mark Waid he deserved every award he got for the Eisner Awards. He is a great writer, and I heard he's going to Hulk soon. I'm hoping this doesn't mean he's going to leave Daredevil, just that he'll be doing another title alongside Daredevil. But if he has to go, he wrote a great run, and I'd love to see what he did with Hulk, because I didn't even read Daredevil until he started writing it. But this book was also great, and I would highly recommend it. This is probably the most accessible book for Marvel. It's a great book. I would give that a 9.5 out of 10. Just some minor tweaks here and there, but besides that, it was great. Seriously, guys, you gotta start reading it. My final book of the week. And what a book it was. Hawkeye issue 1, written by Matt Fraction with art by David Aja. This book, similar to how Mark Waid made me care for Daredevil, Matt Murdock, who I didn't care for before, Matt Fraction has made me care about Hawkeye. And I never had a problem with Hawkeye, but I never really dug the character. I could never really find common ground with the character and anything that would intrigue me. Matt Fraction finds a way. He makes Hawkeye the hero of the people. Because like the people, he doesn't have any powers. He says in this book, he has to work with people that are godlike, similar to Thor, or with high-tech armor, like Tony Stark, and he's just a guy with a bow and arrow. And, similar to how a lot of the people in the Marvel Comics feel, they're kind of overwhelmed by it, and in a way, he is too, and, he's a human, plain and simple. He has his flaws. He has his limits. And Fraction finds a way to take those limits and make them what I can find relatable. He makes me care for the character because of his failures. And in this sense, I got a huge sense of Aquaman from this book. And it's interesting because, thinking about it, Fraction actually kind of reminds me of Geoff Johns in a way. Like, Fraction made a great run with Iron Fist. Geoff Johns made a great run with both Teen Titans and Green Lantern, making me care for these characters. And also similar, I would say is that Jeff Johns and Matt Fraction have fallen from grace as of late with their books. I mean, I picked up Defenders for Silver Surfer, but that was, along with Flash, the weakest book on my pull list. But I have to say, Fraction, I mean, I came in with little expectations, and I came out with my mind blown. This is a great book, and I'm excited to see what Marvel can put out from this book. The art is amazing. The protagonist of Clint Barton, you know, he's so well written in this because he's just a guy with a bow and arrow. And that's what Matt Fraction harps on in this, is he's just a guy. And in that way, he's a joke to a lot of people. And I think that's the greatest part, is when a character like this, a hero, is a joke, it's hard, you know, but I feel that Matt Fraction finds a way to make me care for him because he is a joke. He doesn't deserve to be the joke, though. It's similar to Aquaman, where he's a great guy, he's a hero, he's done many great things, but people are stuck behind the basic simplicity of what they are supposedly able to do. And this is only $2.99, and in all honesty, if I read this book, I would have paid $5.99 for it. It was that great. It was a 10 out of 10. We got a great new supporting role member known as Pizza Dog, as I will henceforth call him until we know his name. But it is a great book, and even though Marvel was probably doing this solely to get a new group of people read through the Avengers movie, I'm still glad they did it because I love this book. I can't wait for next month, and you know, with how great this was, I'm hoping Gambit next week can be just as good, if not better. So yeah, I really think that this book was great. Actually, all the books I picked up this week were really good, but I think the best part was each book was better than the last, in a sense. Earth 2 was an 8 out of 10, Daredevil 9.5, Hawkeye perfect, 10 out of 10. But keep in mind, these are my opinions, and if you have any other books you'd like to see me review that you have any recommendations for, please do so. This is the greatest thing about comics, is finding new ones, finding more characters to care about, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time for my next video. Till then, bye.